Well, hello there, Virgo. It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are going to be doing a special reading. This is actually good for the next 3 years. We have Saturn transiting from Aquarius into Pisces on March 7th. So, and it will stay in Pisces until February of 2026. So we're going to first take a look at where Saturn has been. It has actually been in your 6th house of health and work routines, okay, for the last 3 years. So we'll take a look at that just really briefly about the lesson, or what you've really learned, the what to celebrate about the last 3 years. And then we're going to take a deeper dive into the next 3 years. Saturn is moving into your house of romantic relationships. So, Virgo, for some time we have had that love kind of coming into your readings. And now with Pisces, Saturn moving into Pisces in your 7th house of romantic relationships, you can expect a big change in that area. So we'll take a look at that also. And so anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to first pull a couple of oracle cards just to get the overall energies for your reading. And then we'll move to the tarot to get more details about the last 3 years, any areas that you can concentrate on for the next 3 years, and finally the outcome after these next 3 years when Saturn leaves Pisces. Okay, so your animal spirit card, horse spirit, freedom is yours. Okay, and reaching your destination, your light is shining brightly. Okay, whatever has been holding you back in your romantic relationship, I feel like you are finally getting free. So it could be a mindset about romantic relationships. It could be actually leaving a relationship for something that is more in alignment for who you are wanting to become. But it is about understanding that you have the freedom to go towards what it is that you truly want in your romantic relationships. Okay. And, for some of you, that can mean, having more, it will mean that you may have to have more responsibility in your romantic relationships, right? So for instance, let's say that you have been casually dating, okay, for some time. It's also understanding that if you want a committed relationship, there's a little bit of more responsibility with that, a little bit more of a sense of having to, have boundaries and routines and structure to your romantic relationship. Whereas when you're casually dating, if you cancel on somebody, it may not matter that much, or, there's really just kind of like this true flexibility flow in your romantic relationship, or maybe you're not even dating at all, right? And now it's kind of like, okay, Saturn is the taskmaster. Wants you to have structure, organization, and routines, okay, in your romantic relationship that will help you to get to the destination, what you are trying to manifest in that sector. So we're also going to take a look at how you can show up for yourself in your romantic relationships. Yeah. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. Yes. Okay. On the bottom, you have Angel of Love. And then behind that, you have the broken heart. So I feel like for some of you, you are finally healing, the way that your mindset perhaps about romantic relationships after ending a difficult relationship, or you could be ending a relationship, right, and going in a new direction. Okay, so let's take a look at this. A beautiful energy. So you have conflict and you have 10 of Wands on the bottom. I'm going to say, I feel like over the next 3 years, you are dropping the burden of some type of conflict. Now, it is your romantic relationships, but it can be other relationships in your life too. Understanding that you have to drop something here. There's been some conflict that is holding you stuck in your romantic sector, whether it is a conflict or something that you'd like to say to a romantic partner or a potential romantic partner, or with a family member or somebody else that's near and dear to you in your life. It's kind of like, okay, I have to, it's almost like you may have swept something under the rug for some time, not really wanting to have this conversation, and now you're going to have this conversation, and it kind of like opens up the door for romance also, because you have the 10 of Cups and the 2 of Cups, and you also have the Judgment card. For some of you, you could, if you're in a relationship and things are a little bit rocky, okay, with the conflict card, you see how the boat could be rocking back and forth. If it's been rocky, but you haven't really kind of truly voiced how you feel about whatever the conflict is, or you're just kind of like brushing it under the rug, you're not really speaking up your mind. I feel like you find your voice. You're either speaking up your mind and reconnecting with this person with the Judgment card, or you are deciding, okay, I have to drop that burden. I have to move away from that person and find my true romantic partner. Okay, now the other message that I got is that this is about deciding what it is that you want in love. You know, what is your 10 of Cups? How do you feel about relationships? Do you want a relationship? Right? Saturn is going to be putting situations into your life that help you to figure this out, help you figure out what it is that you want in romance, okay? And how you want to show up, what you are willing to do to have romance. There is some work, right? That, you know, romantic relationship doesn't just happen. There is a little bit of work there. So we're going to look at that and see the outcome. So first, let's take a look at the last 3 years. Now, this was in your area of health and work routines. Okay, so you could have had some blocks in daily habits or how your daily structure of life happened. You could have had some big changes. Let's think about it. I mean, we had Saturn had the last transit in December of 2019. We've had the pandemic to deal with since then. You could have had some major changes in your daily work schedule. That would make sense. You maybe used to go to the office. Now you're working remotely. Maybe you've started your own business. You know, that was a big change for people that were going from being in the office to working at home, and perhaps also juggling, having children at home and helping them with schoolwork and that type of thing. So it helped you to highlight what is the most important for you in your daily habits and to build structure and organization around them. You have the Magician in the Mirror and the Loving Woman. Now, I'm going to say that I feel like, you know, the Loving Woman here could be somebody that you had in your life in the last 3 years that maybe you aren't with at this time, or there could be a little bit of stall or, you know, just kind of like conflict in this relationship. For some of you, it could be that, you know, it does not have to be a female. Gender doesn't matter here, but it's kind of like, okay, wondering, okay, what over the last 3 years, I think you've gotten a different perspective, okay, of through your daily work and health habits, okay, what it is that you truly want for yourself, okay, for yourself first, and then as far as a connection. For some of you, if you were single during the pandemic, right, it could have really highlighted that you wanted somebody in your life, or it could have highlighted, I don't want somebody in your life. You know, it could have been either way, because, you know, for some of you, you may be deciding after this next 3 years, I really don't want to have a significant other in my life. I would rather be by myself. So there is that possibility, but that's up to you. I'm not saying that's the outcome, Virgo. I'm not saying that's the outcome, but that is the decision you get to make over the next 3 years. So it's kind of like what I feel like you may have felt like you were wanting to manifest in love did not come in. It was stalled, okay? And I feel like maybe you put some routines into your life around your health and your work in order to, you know, for some of you, I feel like maybe you put those in hoping to meet somebody. Okay. And maybe what you had to reflect on was, am I doing it for myself, or am I just doing it for somebody else, or the hope of somebody else, right? That's like working out, not because you want to work out so that you're healthier or feel better or have more energy, but because you're trying to impress somebody else, right? There could also be a little bit here of trying to manipulate love, not that you're a very manipulative person, Virgo, but there could be, of trying to show up in the world in one way in order to kind of, impress or somewhat, and that it does not have to be with your physical appearance, right? It could be the way that you were showing up, as far as, you as a package. Let me put it that way, so physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I love this energy that this is where you are. You're kind of like at the standstill. Interesting. At the standstill about what it is that you want. You're holding back. You're holding back. And then look at this. You have the Eight of Cups. You're wanting to walk towards some type of committed relationship. I wonder if there's also been a change in how you view romantic relationships, because there's something that you're holding back. I feel like you're kind of like wanting, to reach out to somebody, but you're holding back and trying to decide, do I reach out to that person, or do I just move on? For some of you, I feel like there's somebody in mind, that maybe you are not actually in contact with at this time, or just, it's kind of like on standstill. There could be a little bit of conflict, something like that. Something I'm going to say, Saturn is about karma. It is somewhat about cleaning up whatever this is, clearing out that energy. Sometimes that does mean you have a conversation to close the energy out, to say goodbye. I wish you well, right? Or to see if there is an opportunity for that relationship to be reunited. Really interesting. I'm actually going to pull some romance angel cards. I just happen to have them nearby. Let's see what this energy is, because this is, I wonder too if some of you were having a relationship with somebody that you worked with and the lessons that you learned there. Yeah, romantic feelings, lots of passion, honeymoon. Yeah. So, underneath there's all of this passion. I feel like maybe for some of you, you've had a real attraction, to somebody maybe that you even work with. But it's almost like having this attraction, but not doing anything about it. And I also wonder, are you just trying to keep it on the surface because this is all just physical? Or you could have been dealing with somebody that was just keeping it on the surface, right? And you wanted more. So let's see how this plays out over the next 3 years. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at what part of your romantic relationships you are being asked by Saturn to put more structure and organization into. Okay, so, romance, we can think about that as, it's full of passion. But there is also some structure that goes into any relationship, whether it's romantic, family, friend, or work. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, there's two scenarios. I'm really getting two scenarios. For some of you, you could have been a little bit of just having fun in the romance sector, not really kind of committing, just kind of like casually dating. This is just I'm just in it for the fun. I don't want to be committed, that type of energy, right? And now you're recognizing, I think Saturn is coming in to help you to realize, that by having that in your energy, you are going to be taking a deeper dive into how this plays out karmically in your life when you're just, it's all about casual. Don't want anything but just fun, right? Just the passion Kind of like, yeah, just keeping it simple, right? No attachments. For others of you, you could be looking at your fears around physical intimacy, okay? Physical and emotional intimacy, okay? Taking a look at worried, for some of you, you could be worried that, that the people that you go out with, you could always be attracting in people that just want fun, but you're looking for more of a committed relationship, right? So it's kind of like, oh my goodness, do I have to go out and then fend off somebody all the time? It is that a little bit of energy. So you may have stopped dating because it was kind of like you were only dealing with people that wanted casual relationships instead of, committed relationships. People that came and went a lot. Okay. The Knight of Wands is somebody that comes in, gets what they want and leaves. And then, oh, I'm back in town. Let me, that type of energy. So it's about building healthy boundaries around your romantic relationships and understanding, okay, I'm building karma here. You got to think about karma, right? Am I just trying to, and Virgo, I don't think there's many of you that, if you're on this channel, that have just been taking advantage of people, right? Romantic, perhaps, pursuits. I think most of you have felt like perhaps you didn't want to get into romance because you were concerned it was just going to be all physical and not get emotional. You wanted more depth to it. Or you could have, just kind of like been, I'm good by myself. I don't feel like romance is very fun, just like fun and enjoyable. I don't want to go out on a date. Doesn't sound fun to me, right? So it's looking at your fears. It's putting, what are you fearful of? As far as, I think, really intimacy, perhaps especially physical intimacy. What are you afraid of, right? And then understanding, okay, what boundaries can I put in place for myself and also be able to voice to somebody else around that? Really kind of interesting, really putting it out there, asking people, what are your intentions? Sharing what your intentions are in a relationship, and not allowing it to go too far before I feel like you're really looking at your own fears. Look at this, here you are showing up in your own reading, looking at your own fears. The moon is the fears, right? Looking at your own fears around love, romantic relationships, and then getting really clear about what you will allow and what you will not allow. It could be that you just haven't had very healthy boundaries in the area of love, and that's maybe why you've unfortunately had your heart hurt, right? And now it's like, okay, I'm setting boundaries for myself of what I will accept, of how I will show up, and what I will allow in a romantic relationship and what I won't. And it's just, boundaries are really the key to healthy relationships. Wonderful energy there. I mean, I know that that's not the easiest of work. And yet at the same time, when we put the work into our relationships like that, building those healthy boundaries within our relationships, whether they're romantic or family or work, it really helps us to enjoy our relationships more. Let's put it that way. We really can enjoy them. When everybody's on the same page about what's going on here, right? It is a much more enjoyable relationship. You don't have to worry about, am I going to have that conversation or what's going to happen next, right? You have in mind, the boundaries, and you feel safe. So let's take a look at the karma part of the next 3 years. This is where karma is really about accountability, taking accountability for how you are showing up in your romantic relationships. Wow, the moon is coming out. Moon is the Pisces energy, right? A transformation, Okay, walking away from something. I feel like the accountability is understanding. Okay, I'm looking at my fears and I'm walking away. Look at how she's walking away from the fears because you're shining light on them. You're no longer like hiding them or sweeping them under the rug or something like that, right? You're shining light on your fears about romance and how you are showing up. It could be, you know, for some of you, you could have, you know, been someone that just wanted casual relationships, right? But what you're realizing now is that you never closed that energy out. You just kind of like swept that relationship underneath the rug. What is swept under the rug is kind of like your karma. It's kind of like going back and asking yourself, okay, how can I close out energies better? How can I close out relationships better? For some of you, I think you are going back to a past love and closing that energy out, recognizing, okay, I didn't do a very good job of closing that out, of saying goodbye to that person, of wishing them well, and recognizing that that is also preventing you from being able to move forward in your own romantic relationships, right? Transforming yourself into being willing to go after what it is that you truly want. A lovely energy, right? So for some of you, I also feel like, you know, this is also about family relationships, perhaps having a conversation with somebody in your family, building healthier boundaries there, having a conversation, you know, around that, so that you can build that relationship, and that will also help with building a romantic relationship. Yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, after a time of feeling, you know, very left out, rejected. Somebody could have rejected you. Somebody could have played you. Let's put it that way, Virgo, right? And it's a little bit about gaining, I think over the next 3 years, you're gaining back your power. You're stepping into your power again, understanding that something may have gone down in your relationship, but it was because you had to learn how to build better boundaries within your relationship. If you're finding that you have these relationships in your life where things just kind of fizzle out and you don't know why, right? Or people walk away and you don't know why, whether it's romantic, family, friend, whatever. It's a little bit about, okay, how am I showing up and what could I do to help it not fizzle out? It's about healthy boundaries. Okay, it is about healthy boundaries, building those boundaries, learning how to work more. It's not that you're not cooperative, Virgo. It's about learning how to work with others, okay, but also learning how to speak up for yourself with others. Yeah, and then coming into this nurturing, taking good care of yourself. For some of you, this has also been a journey of self-care, of taking good care of yourself, recognizing for some of you, you may have had to also learn that you can't find in, you know, relationships, you can't find that nurturing energy, right? It's learning how to nurture yourself, okay, and not expect somebody else to nurture you. Of course, you want somebody that's nurturing in a relationship, but you have to be at that, you know, you have to be full. You have to be able to provide that for yourself before you can have somebody that comes in and cherishes the fact that you do take good care of yourself. You know, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, nurturing yourself, loving yourself for who you are. You know, having that financial stability, creating a beautiful home for yourself. All of that is going to be coming into play over the next 3 years. All right, so where does this all go? Look at this. You have man holding a heart. I felt like we had the loving woman, right? I feel like you're meeting your counterpart. You know, gender doesn't matter, but it's stepping into this energy of meeting your true counterpart, because you're learning that when you have these healthy boundaries, you have some structure in your romantic relationships. When you know what it is that you want out of romantic relationships and you're willing to stand up for that, right? And build the structure around what it is that you want. This person comes in. And I feel like, look, you are the hermit. I think the person that you meet, okay, could be, there could be an age difference, okay? You could be younger, they could be younger. It doesn't really matter, but I feel as if there's something that some wisdom that you gain out of learning how to build healthy boundaries. And I feel like this person kind of helps you to learn that. That's a nice energy. I also feel like for some of you, this could become part of your purpose, stepping into teaching other people how to have healthy boundaries in their relationships. Oh my goodness. And Virgo, the other thing I wanted to mention is that, these readings are for sun and rising. Because you may want to also go look at your rising sign and see how that plays out with this too. So that's kind of interesting. Yes. All right. It's coming up. Same cards, like over and over again, finding your happiness first by yourself, understanding I have to know who I am and what it is that I want in the romantic sector. Okay. Before I go and start trying to attract in love. Yeah, it's like you don't want just anybody, Virgo. I know that, right? You know that. You don't want just anybody. But it is also understanding that you have to be who you want to attract before you can bring them in. So whatever qualities you are looking for in a romantic partner, you also first have to have within yourself. And, looking at your broken heart and looking at how this situation, okay, may have affected your romantic relationships moving forward. If this was a committed relationship, then since then you may have just, had, very casual dating or no dating. It's kind of like, okay, why am I afraid to get back into the world of dating? It's having the courage to take a look at that and to recognize that when you shine light on your fears, believe it or not, the fears start to dissolve. And then you have the Lover's card. Being courageous enough to move back into having a romantic relationship. Loving yourself. Loving yourself enough to allow yourself to love again. Wow. Really beautiful. Yes. I heard a saying the other day. I'm going to try to think of it. Being vulnerable enough to love, but not allowing the same person to break your heart twice, right? Yeah. Not just returning to a past love, but it's about, okay, I'm not going to allow that past love that broke your heart to prevent you from loving again, right? Recognizing that you do want to love again. Wow, beautiful. All right, well, let's pull a soul truth card for you, Virgo. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. All right, how can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? Yeah, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. It is. On here it says, say no to something that isn't a soul yes, and say yes to something that you are afraid of. That's exactly what this is all about, right? Saying no to things that are not really in alignment with who you are and where you want to go, right? And also saying yes to having the courage to love again, to step into this energy of committing, right? Of committing your love to someone else, of opening up your vulnerability, of understanding this is really something that I want. Shining your light brightly and knowing that you will attract in that person by just being your true authentic self. Wow, beautiful energy there. All right, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. I wish you so much love and light, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.